Hi Aaron, Nick again. I'm just going to look these parts over now. I've got everything disassembled. I've checked everything over. You don't have any broken parts. You don't have any cracked parts. Just want to look a few of these things over a little bit. Your butt plates. This one here just doesn't really have any checkering left. You know, the checkering is so worn on it. It's not too badly dented and dinged up along its edges, but it's so smooth anymore. There's not much left. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with this one, because this one's still got some decent checkering. Still pretty sharp, you know, pretty pronounced. It's got a few issues, a few dings and marks. You know, I could spend a little time with a file on there if you wanted me to, you know, just to clean that edge up a bit, get rid of some of those burrs and dings. You know, they take a lot of pounding. So, but that's the butt plate I'd go with anyway. And then probably use this door. It pretty much matches it as far as wear. And it's the door that came off of it. So anyway, so that all looks good. Rear sight, everything looks good. We don't have any pits, nothing. All your edges are nice, and don't have any pitting going on or any bad damage or nothing. So quite happy with how that all looks. All this other stuff looks fine. No problem there. So all that is good. We got a little issue here with this, the rear sight housing. As you can see, it's got a few. See if I can get a little bit better focus on there. You can see it's got some. The top of it, you know, been laid down, and the top of it got peened over a little bit. Once again, it can all be corrected, you know, with a file. It's not a big deal. But it's, you know, if you want to make the rifle look mint, those marks should be taken out of there. But once again, that's up to you. I can parkerize right over those marks. Remember, all this needs to be sandblasted yet. So, but I just want to have a preliminary look at it, you know, while the parts are in the raw. But everything looks good. You got a bit of an issue with your trigger. And once again, it's not horrible, but as you can see, depending how mint you want to make it, you got a lot of little nicks and gouges along the edge there. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. We can clean it up. I can pass a file over that, clean it up. Entirely your baby. Trigger housing looks good. There's no issues there, no pitting, no nothing. Just got all the original machining marks in it. So that'll parkerize up, that'll look perfect. No issues at all with that thing. Trigger guard, same way. Everything looks good. A little bit of grinder marks right in here, but that's actually factory right there. That's factory. That's not a problem. These were made pretty rough during wartime production, so even though the receiver is a 41, we're not sure, you know, these other parts. Receiver itself is pretty nice. You know, as we're aware, we've got some little bit of pitting. Bit of pitting going on there, but not very much. That should be able to get that out with a file. These receivers are really hard, and you can't file much. You got to get them annealed if you're going to do any heavy-duty filing. But I think I can get this out even without annealing it. Because annealing it and rehardening it is another $50, so I'm trying to avoid that cost. You see, you got a few little issues along that edge there, but once again, they can all be filed out. That little ding is from an armor. Sometime it was test fired at some time in its life when it was rebuilt, and that little mark right there is from an armorer's punch, just showing that it was test fired. So that's totally fine. You got a little bit of fine pitting going on in this groove right here. A little bit, nothing terrible, but it's in there. You can see it, it's in there. But I could probably file that out as well, get that out of there. Well, anything can be filed. It can all be repaired, but just cost. Now the surface of the receiver, as you can see, we're getting close. It's got a few issues, a few dings and marks and all that stuff, and that could all be filed out, can all be repaired, but once again, it's up to you. The rest of it is pretty nice. You're good all along the side here. That's all good. No issues, nothing. Back end is all nice. Little tiny bit of pitting going on right there, but once again, that could be few strokes with a file, that'll be gone, you know. Mind you, every time you file, you also have to follow up with emery cloth to polish out the file marks. But now, if you can see here, I don't know if you can see it quite well, but you got some pitting going on that heel. If I move that heel, rotate that slowly, you can see it's got some pitting. There's some pitting in the serial numbers themselves. So it's got some scattered light pitting, nothing severe, but you can see along that edge. But you know, once again, if you want to mint this out, it is 41. It's an extremely rare one. This would be more valuable than most. But all along there, everything's looking good. So it's not a lot of damage, but there is a little bit. So I'll give you some quotes on the repairs, but everything looks good on this bolt. No issues. Once again, that pin prick there at the back, that's from an armorer who's done some test firing on it, and that pin prick shows that this passed his inspection. So everything else looking good. How we get back down to this piece, which we've already talked about, how pitted and damaged that piece is. It's just not worth saving, I don't think. I mean, I think they're reasonably common. I mean, I could save it. I could file those marks out of there, but if you can get a newer, you know, a better one for 20 bucks or less, then that's the road I'd go. But everything else, the stacking swivel is decent, you know. A few minor tiny marks in it. It's got a little bit of a bend in it. I'll straighten that out before I parkerize it. But looking good. Gas tube, of course, we talked about that it's missing that the bayonet lug has been ground off of it, so that's not worth saving. So that's basically scrap. But you got one coming from Sean, I understand. And all your barrel bands, that rear clip is fine. The middle band is fine. There's no issues. Now you've got the front ferrule. It's got a little bit of problems. Got some pitting right there along that edge. I think you can see that. Try and get it a little bit more focused for you, but it's got some issues. Could use a little filing or something just to clean it up. The rest of it's not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. And I'll check all your screw heads over. I'll make sure all your screw heads are nice. You know, I'll clean your slots out and make sure they look sharp again. So if there's anything that's been slightly peened or stripped, that'll all clean up, no problem. I see you got a National Match front sight, and it's you know, it's in fine shape. There's no issues with it. So I will. I guess that's about it. I will go ahead and bead blast all these parts. But now at least you got a rough idea, more detailed idea of what we're up against. Pitting's not a real bad issue, but there is a little bit of pitting going on here and there. But so we can mint this thing out beautifully, or we can just bead blast it and parkerize right over the pits, whatever you want to do. But anyway, that's it for now, and I'll make another video once I got everything sandblasted or bead blasted. Okay? Talk to you later.